Ladies and gents, boys and girls, today we have this S10. This is Mr. Justin's S10, and he did a very similar to a Don't BS Me build. He did the usual 78-75 billet, sloppy stage to camshaft. He has a 6-liter that he swapped pistons and rods into, Gen 4 flavor, and has a stock intake manifold, and he even shoved the Vortec cover on. It has a relatively small air-to-air. It has a flex fuel sensor, but he didn't really plan on running much flex at the time when he set up the appointment. He just wanted to make like a certain amount with pump gas, and I think we far exceeded his expectations. Either way, he has Snake Eater 1000s. He has a single 400 pump, I think, in the tank. Not in the tank. He has an external like AEM or something 400, and we talked about this afterwards because of his ethanol capability with this turbo. So we had pushed in on it. I did like a roll in, as you can see here, about 468, and we made about 504, cleaning it up. 526 on a little bit of a peak on a lift. 505, 50. That was obviously aborted fairly low. I think intercooler pipe came off when I lifted. Yeah, intercooler pipe came off on a 500 pass. 535, 558, 587. I think we quit around there. 587, 565. Yes. Here's where it became interesting. So I believe we made 587 on pump. Yep. And then here's where it got interesting. He was let's show you the log here. This is where it gets very interesting. So he was running out of fuel pressure. He was running out of fuel pressure at 65, 66, 67, 66, 65. He was just starting to run out of fuel pressure, I noticed. I could lift it here, but he's just running out of fuel pressure at 587 on pump. And I'm like, what would be fun is, since we're only using roughly half of your SEP 1000s, 8% flex fuel is pump gas. I'm like, let's go right to ethanol. Let's mix in just enough to get over 40%, and then let's lean on this thing for fun. I'll show you how far it'll go on ethanol. It'll definitely sway you for fuel pumps and everything else and expected power. So you can see here we peaked out about 15 pounds and only 13 degrees, and we were dipping on fuel pressure, and we had 1130, 1120 air fuel, very safe. And we were already running out of pump, single pump, as to be expected. And so what we did was we splashed in the E, and I don't know why it always scales to full screen. Please pardon the nausea. So what we did was we splashed in a little bit of ethanol, 53% flex, and all my offset tables were set up correctly. And our first hit, we lowered the boost and everything, electronic boost control, controlled by Holly, obviously. Holly Terminator on this guy, if you didn't figure that out by now with the data logs. And this thing on 8.8 pounds made 565. Boom. Very easily. And then what we did was we smacked it with a little bit more. Oh, let me get rid of this guy. I wish it wouldn't full screen me. I'm very sorry for the time travel. Close your eyeballs. Here we go. Boom. Here we have 12 pounds and 21 degrees on 50% flex, and it made 623 rear wheel. And then I'm like, well, our fuel pressure is just plummeting. Where are we? Fuel pressure 55. 61, 62, and as power comes up, it kind of wants a nose. No, it actually held this. See, it would hold and then not hold, and that was the suspicious part here. So we had inconsistencies with fuel pressure. On pump at this level, it was struggling, and then on E, it wasn't, and then back to backs, it was. So obviously, he's going to get into that. And here we go. Whereas I'm like, well, real quick, I'll just smack it with a little bit more boost. I'll crank on it a little bit and show you what it's capable of. The Gen 1 billet 7875 with this size engine is capable of at least 800 rear wheel. So I just wanted to show them a quick whiff of where are we at here? 16 pounds, 6,700. Right around, like a 12, running out of fuel pretty bad here up top. So fuel pressure goes from 58, 63, 58, 50, 46, 42. It's plummeting as if you can tell, and closed loop was throwing 30% at it up top, and injector duty cycle was over 100. Everything was chasing its tail, but it made 700 wheel. So I'm like, if you can just sustain the fuel flow, 700 is there, 800 is probably right around the corner, so he's going to do a double pump. But it was just neat to see. Yeah, so this was like a roll in, and then I was able to make, I believe, let me look at the logs, 587 on a decent amount of boost. So 587 was, let's confirm. 587 here. How much boost, boys? How much boost? 587 on almost 16 pounds. So that's an interesting note, right? 587 on almost 16 pounds, very safe ignition. It didn't want any more. So we put in E85, and then we immediately made 565. Yeah, so this is a direct comparison here. This is 50, almost 16 pounds on pump, and then this is 8.8 pounds on E85. It's pretty incredible. Almost half the boost and the same or more horsepower, better average, almost the same peak. But do I have a decent engine speed plot on this? Maybe. I mean, this is where, people run into the whole torque converter thing, right? Oh yeah, this has a JEGS XHD converter, like $350 torque converter. So that's the other astonishing part of it. Yeah, as you can see, everything's doing fantastic. So that's the funny thing about ethanol. We cut his boost in half and made more than the same power. Disgusting. I know, but that's the reality of it. The pump gas is just awful, and the combinations are capable of much more. And then number 9, number 10, 623 rear wheel. Do you want to see how much boost that was? Let's take a little gander. Let me resize this thing so you can see it. And that was 12 pounds. 12 pounds made 623. Mind-blowingly. And then the 700 horsepower hit, which was the detriment of the fuel system right there. 16 pounds made 700 on 50% alcohol and way over duty cycle because the pump was running out so bad. But it's always neat to see, right? What do we do here? We cranked up on pump till we didn't have any more, and then we smacked it with where's a decent one? Yeah, as you can see here, like 5 and change. 580 was the winner, so 580. So this is like less boost, essentially less boost, making that much more power on ethanol. And he has enough injector, he just doesn't have enough fuel pump. So it is always neat, I think.
So I definitely got cut off there for whatever reason. I always say it's neat to see the difference between ethanol and pump gas because of how poor pump gas is, and then how much these turbo combos have to give with the appropriate octane, and how easy the flex fuel sensor is and everything else to use. Also, I'd like to highlight an S10 that isn't awful to tune and work on. He had everything wired and working perfectly, other than the most towering issue most people have is just the capability of the combo is actually way over their fuel supply, which I don't think he ever imagined or dreamed of having as much as we easily delivered. So he's like, I want to do pumps and stuff immediately. I want to have that kind of power capability all the time. And I showed a little bit of stills here of his combo, and he's going to do double pumps and maybe even a Gen 2 78, 75 and come back, depending on what he wants and what his goals are. He seemed pretty interested in getting even more than this because of how well he did. So there's just another VS Turbo, Jegs converter, Terminator, Snake Eater injector, pump gas, ethanol, 700 plus horsepower build, just to cap off your weekend.